Pop quiz, pop quiz, pop quiz. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.
Welcome, everyone, to Artesia, New Mexico. It's time for Hobbs Eagle basketball, live on HobbsAmerica.com and on the YouTube Hobbs Sports Channel. The Tournament of Champions as the Hobbs Eagles take on the Rio Rancho Rams. Ty, friend Ron Gunner with you this afternoon, this morning, whatever you want to call it here. Very early start, Ron, is a 8:30 tip-off. Talking to assistant coach Ronald Ross here just a minute ago, he says, well, not really a big deal for us. We have practice at 7 in the morning on a daily basis, so This is kind of more fun type of practice for the Hobbs Eagles. But they come in with a 2-1 record, of course, so to win on the road against Centennial. Game they had 26 turnovers and still got a victory in overtime, so that's a pretty good way to pick up a W. Have to work a little bit extra harder for it, though. But the team they're playing today, Rio Rancho, at 0-2 with a couple of losses to some Amarillo High School so far. But this is the first round of the Tournament of Champions, a tournament the Eagles won last year on this same court.
Yeah, and I expect to see them play very well today, as well as the tournament in itself, because they are getting together team-wise. They're getting their teamwork together. They're being able to get those shots in. Yeah, turnovers, I don't really account too much about turnovers, because we've had several times where it's just been a back and forth in the same play, in the same moments. So turnovers to me don't mean as much as the final score, which is always going to be the thing you want to look at most. And we'd also like to see a little bit more improvement as far as free throws, of course.
Yeah, free throws has been an issue. Didn't get a lot of opportunities in that last game. They went 5 of 9 from the stripe, and a majority of those, all 5 of the free throws made by Michael Mackey. He was 5 of 7 out of the 9 they shot. So that tells you a kid that's going to the basket and directing a lot of traffic to him, a magnet type, a guy that comes down the lane. 72-67 was the final in that game. The Eagles were out early, 22-17, and led with a 6-point lead at halftime, 37-31. They got 20 points in the third quarter, 16 for Centennial, but it was the fourth quarter where Centennial came back pretty strong and got the 13 points to get it tied up with 60 all at the end of the regulation play. The Eagles dominated, though, in the overtime as they outscored the Centennial squad 12-7 to get the victory. But once again, a kind of a tight ball game. With 26 turnovers does hurt you in quite a few instances, but the other team had 16, which is not the best numbers either. But Hobbs got 30 points out of Michael Mackey. Abraham Pena finished with 26, so 56 of the 72 points on those two guys.
Yeah, we need a couple more players to step up, whether it be for offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, or maybe some steals, whatever it is that they can do. Of course, you always, whenever you think about the Hobbs Eagles, you always think about fast break points. You want to see those early on and often, especially against this Rio Rancho team who has only played one game so far this season, and they haven't won one yet. But, we also have a 10-game winning streak going on against this Rio Rancho team, which was established back in 1997. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out first as far as, especially with 8:30. They say that Hobbs is always prepared to play at 7:30, as far as practice, so it may not be an issue for them.
Take a look at some of the other players on this squad besides Mackey and Pena. Jarius Turbiatas, a big job on the boards against Centennial, had 8 rebounds, didn't score in that game. The problem was he fell on his arm, and now he will not play in this game. He's a definitely big-time rebounder for the Eagles. Like to see him get some more scoring inside the paint as the season progresses, but he's going to stay out of this game. I'm not sure what the rest of the tournament's going to have for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see him body in, use that presence like we've seen before, and be able to get those. For him, it'd be easy baskets, but get the layups, get that muscle memory going on, and then, of course, the defense getting those rebounds always helps the offensive side of the scoring.
So him and Pena, the guy that went down a few games back, he's out with an arm injury as well. He didn't play in the game against Centennial on the road in Las Cruces on Tuesday. So those two guys are down for the Eagles. We saw Omar Argot getting his first start of the season against Centennial, and of course he scored 8 points and had 5 rebounds, using his physicality from the football team, but bringing it down the hardwood too. He will start tonight this morning game as well, so definitely somebody to look forward to and give another physical presence in the paint.
Yeah, just there's maybe an over and under as far as if he throws a touchdown or not, but he is definitely going to be a presence. He's fast on his feet, especially since he's not wearing those pads. He can be a little bit faster. We've seen him in the last game go up and down the court really fast, and his presence may be a little bit more than it was last time simply because of his play experience.
Of course, we saw him kind of being subbed in and out with his teammate from football, Jordan Chisholm, who played on the defensive secondary for the Hobbs football team. So those two guys, again, the physicality part of the bench and the starting lineup now with Omar Argot. Anxious to see how those guys progress as the season comes along. Looking at the starters today's game, Michael Mackey, Devon Marquez, Abraham Pena. Also, Chris Archibek will get a start today in this game, and then Omar Argot, who we just mentioned. So a little bit of change up again with Archibek getting in the starting lineup and getting some different combinations out there. When you take a look at the Hobbs Eagles scoring so far this season, of course, Michael Mackey leading the team at 24 points a ball game. So he's been 20-plus in all 3 games he's played so far and has 3 3-pointers. Abraham Pena, of course, he's kind of a bookend with Mackey in that game against Centennial. He's averaging 18 points a game. And, of course, he's a guy that's really been drilling the 3-point shots. He had 4 against Centennial and now has 9 3-pointers to lead the Eagles. And, of course, we lost a big 3-point shooter from last year to graduation. And now we got one that's starting to get the stroke alive early on.
Yeah, I think Pena is going to definitely be a fun to watch as far as his 3-point shots. They seem to be really nice. They have that nice arc, and they hit the net just right. Usually most of the times it's nothing but net. That's a good thing because – then you're like, all right, so he shot it and he made it easy, or made it look easy anyway. Even though you want those 3-point shots, I like to see them drive the lane.
Yeah, definitely want to get some more penetration in the paint for the Hobbs Eagles. Those two guys, again, we mentioned Mackey with 24 and Abraham Pena 18 a game. Those guys averaging together 42 points. So definitely some very important parts of the Hobbs Eagle offense. Again, we need to see a lot more bench help in terms of point production, which would help the cause quite a bit. Nobody else really even close to double figures in average in terms of scoring this season. Eagles are getting dominated in the free throws. We knew that already. Their opponents averaging 60% on the line in the 3 games they've played so far. Hobbs just at 46%, not even the 50% mark yet. So that's going to have to improve, especially when you have no defender on you at the free throw line. Hobbs, though, is out-rebounding their opponents 80-70 right now, so plus 10 in that category. But on the other side of it, turnovers have been an issue as well. They've had 57 turnovers in 3 games so far. That's 19 a contest. The opponents of the Eagles in the 3 games have had 42 turnovers, averaging 14. So they've had 5 less turnovers than Hobbs.
Right.
Now, if you can compensate with scoring, that's not a big issue. Turnovers might, you just have to work extra hard to get the ball back and try to get back into the offensive mode again. But Hobbs getting 2 out of the 3 wins at this point. So, I mean, I guess you could say, do all these little stats matter when you get the W? Yeah,
and the other thing that I like to see, or at least we haven't seen anyway up to date, is the fact that there has not been any travels or very little travels for the Hobbs Eagles. A lot of teams on the other side are trying to find their rhythm, and during that time they get a little indecisive. They do a couple of travels. And so that is accredited to the Hobbs defense. They're kind of confusing, a little throwing off a little bit as far as the rhythm of the other team's offense. I think this is going to happen with Rio Rancho as well, where you're going to see a lot of stumbling, fumbling, and bumbling, and a lot of turnovers due to the fact that they're going to travel.
And we only let Centennial get 2 3-pointers in that game on Tuesday night, so they weren't getting a wide-open opportunity to shoot. We also saw a lot of press. Coach Reza told us in the preseason that Hobbs is going to move away from the man-to-man full-court press a little bit. They did a little bit of that last year, too, went more to a trap situation. But then that game against Centennial, I think he felt the need to move some guys up in that backcourt and give some pressure there, which we saw a lot more of in that game compared to games 1 and 2. The opponent today, Rio Rancho, sits at 0-2. They've lost 2 games to Amarillo Schools, Palo Duro 72-58 and Amarillo High 54-39, so double-digit losses in both of those games. Jaden Johnson was the top scorer against Palo Duro. He had 22 points, and Esteban Morales had 12, so those 2 combined for 34. They shot 44% from the field, only 12% from 3-point range. They were just 2 of 17 from outside, so that kind of big question mark there. But a very good free throw team, though. They were 8 of 9 from the line for 89%, so definitely got some guys that can stroke it from the free throw stripe. Maddox Presser, a guy that you'll hear quite a bit. He's a big board man for him, getting the rebounds. He had 9 boards against Palo Duro. But just like the Eagles, they had 24 turnovers in that game in that loss, losing by 14 to Palo Duro. Did have 10 steals. So that's a minus 14 when you compare what you're doing good on defense to what you're not doing good on offense.
Right.
So that's kind of a consistency that we're seeing from Rio Rancho. I think it's not a good consistency, but it's kind of similar to the Hobbs Eagles. Their second game, they lost to Amarillo by 15, 54-39. Jerry Archuleta with 18 points, had 4 3-pointers in that game, so Hobbs had to watch out for him. Maddox Presser with 9 points and 6 rebounds. Again, he's one of their top rebounders on the season. They shot 43% in that game. They were better at the three-point line, 6 of 18 for 33%. Only got 4 free throw attempts and made 3 of those for 75%. But they had 22 turnovers in that game as well compared to 9 steals. So minus 13 again, kind of like their first game of the season. But again, as you mentioned a minute ago, too, teams kind of trying to feel themselves out a little bit early in the season. So you can expect turnovers to be there, but most coaches don't want to be in the 20 range when it comes to that.
Oh, absolutely not. No matter what, even if you're giving the ball back and forth to each other in the last, 30 seconds, you still want to keep your turnovers down to a minimum. It always keeps the offense up on the offensive side, keeping the ball moving and grooving. It's one of those situations, though, sometimes you get a little bit of happy feet. Maybe you get a little bit too excited. You try to throw the ball down the court to somebody, and you just miss the shot. And, it's just one thing leads to another. So one of those things where if it does get out of control, normally most coaches, do a timeout and try to get back to their game.
And we saw a ton of timeouts for Coach Reeves in the second half against Centennial Tuesday as they're having some offensive problems outside the perimeter moving the ball, and he wanted to get them moving a little bit quicker. Last year, the Eagles won this Tournament of Champions here in Artesia, beat Alamogordo in the first round 82-41. Also, Rio Rancho, they defeated 78-61 in the semis, and Los Lunas in the final 58-31. Against Rio Rancho, Michael Mackey finished with 8 points, perfect on the line, 2 for 2. He also had 2 assists and 2 steals, so big-time production for him in that one. Of course, Jalen Gore was the top scorer in that game against Rio Rancho with 21 points and 4 3-pointers. Hobbs shot really well against Rio Rancho, 54%, and were 6 of 11 from three-point range, 55%, the best numbers of the year there. Hobbs got the win by 17, but did have 21 turnovers in that game and had 15 steals, though, so that was a pretty good number defensively. Hobbs out-rebounded Rio Rancho 32-26. They do have some returning players from last year. Jamal Bynum, he scored 16 against the Eagles. Mikey Wood had 6. Jaden Johnson, who's back, he's a junior this year, he had 12. Maddox Presser with 4 and Ford with 2. So names from the last year's squad back on this one as well. In that game against the Eagles, though, they had 25 turnovers. And we're ready to start this one as Hobbs takes on the Rio Rancho Rams. First round of the Artesia Tournament of Champions. And Eagles get the tip in the front court. Actually a steal near the timeline, and they will have the basketball on their first offensive possession. That will go down as a turnover for Rio Rancho. Eagles will get to the left wing. It's going to be Devon Marcus spotting up a tray, and he puts it through the hole to get things started early. Hobbs up by 3-0 to start this first quarter of action. Starters for Rio Rancho, Morales, Archuleta, Bynum, Johnson, and Presser. Coming down the lane with the dribble, Bynum goes all the way to the rack the full distance and gets bumped into as Marquez tried to set up a charge underneath the hoop. And he'll pick up the first foul of the ball game for the Eagles. So that'll put on the line Jamal Bynum. Hobbs up 3-0 again after Devon Marquez drilled the tray. Bynum's first free throw as he leans into it, gets it to go through the hole for the first point of the ball game for the Rams. Again, they come in with an 0-2 record. The Eagles at 2-1. Hobbs defeating Centennial on Tuesday night. Big, quick turnaround for him. Second shot also a leaner for Bynum as he gets them both. They're going to call a lane violation. One of their three-point guys outside the line there ran in before it hit the rim, so that will be no good on the second one. 3-1 score inbound to Marquez on the near sideline. He'll take the dribble himself here in front of the radio table. Cross over to the middle of the court and brings it across. Man-to-man defense for the Rams. Comes left and hands it off to Pena. Dribbles to the top of the arc and backs out now towards the scorer's table on the right sideline. Trying to get some rotation and sending Mackey into a circling spin and comes up top to get the handoff. Hands it back off on the right wing. And that's over to Acosta to the left corner. A 3 on the way for Pena off the back of the rim. No good. Big rebound in the paint. High off the ground was Johnson for his first board. Fumbles it as he dribbles across the timeline and tied him up. Michael Mackey as he straddled him over the back. They're going to call the foul on Mackey as he'll pick up his first. That's already the second team foul against the Eagles. Definitely have to stay away from those.
Definitely.
Inbound of the backcourt, having to chase it back is Bynum. As he comes across the timeline, throws a hip into Pena, no call. Bounce pass to the right baseline to Presser. And returns it back deep in front of us here at the scores table to Bynum on the near sideline. Slides from right to left off the dribble. Bounce pass to the left wing to Archuleta. Jab step with the green shoes on now. White uniforms and the navy blue numbers for the Rams. Dumps it back left baseline. Turnaround jumper for Bynum on the spin. It's no good. And we got a rebound underneath as Mackey rips it down and Bynum slams into him for the foul. Actually, that was Johnson that fouled him. So Johnson will pick up his first team foul against the Rams and the first board for Michael Mackey. Man-to-man pressure defense for the Rams. 2 Hobbs Eagles back in the backcourt, and now 3 Ram defenders as Devon Marquez will inbound from the right base for the Eagles. He's having some issues and finally gets it into Pena. Pena's going to get him to clear out now as he'll go one-on-one against Bynum. Slides over to the right side in the front court. Crossover move, handoff to Marquez. He'll hand it back off far sideline to Acosta, right side. Up top of the arc, goes back door to Mackey, comes down with it, goes back up with a fadeaway from the right block and puts it through the hole. Mackey in the books now. The Eagles extend the lead to 5-1, their biggest lead of 4 in this first quarter of action. 6:08 remaining. Long pass down to the left corner of the front court, sailing off the tips of the fingertips of Presser from Bynum, out of bounds for the turnover, and that's going to be the number 2 turnover for the Rams. Eagles facing that pressure once again. Comes into Mackey on the far sideline. He beats his defender across the time stripe. Johnson lost the ball at the free throw line as it's picked off for Rio Rancho for the first turnover. Pearson in the front court. Spin move down the left baseline. We got a whistle on the drive. Coach Reeves wants a push off, but I think they're going to call the hold on the Eagles. That will be against Hobbs, which will be their 3rd team foul. And I guess they call Argot with the foul on that one. Inbound to the left block, spin for Presser, turns around against double defenders, throws up an errant shot, pulled down by Marquez off the left board, as Marquez with his first rebound. Outlet to Mackey, he'll dribble up the court untouched. Backpedaling is Johnson, his defender in the front court. Clock to 5:40 left, first quarter, Eagles up 5-1. Mackey on the right wing, gets a double team, backs out against it in front of the Rio Rancho bench on the right wing. Going to set up the offense, kick it up top to Argot. Argot will hold it for a second, dribbles left and hands it off to Marquez. Pass up top to reset the O. Holding the ball is Acosta. Hand off to Pena, gets shoved to the floor, taken away by Bynum. He'll lay it up on the left glass and score. Bynum now with 3 points, second Eagle turnover. It's 5-3, Hobbs by 2. Pena quickly gets it into Marquez on the far sideline. Dribbles across the timeline. No look pass to the right baseline to Acosta. He'll dribble out of traffic in the corner right. Puts it behind him to Lehman, correction Pena. And he'll back it out in front of the Hobbs Eagles side of the court as he's in top of the arc. Comes left side of the circle. Gets some pressure from Johnson. Up top of the circle, fires up a 3 on the fade off the back of the rim. Ball hit hard on the ground and picked up by Presser for his first rebound for the Rams and sends it ahead to the left baseline and into the court to Archuleta. No look pass left wing to Bynum. Kicks it up top to Johnson and swing it to the right side. Holding it for a second. Crossover move by Morales. Lost the ball and steps on the sideline. Tried to throw it off the leg of the Hobbs Eagle, Acosta, but they say he got on the line first for the turnover.
He sure did. He was trying to do that. Didn't get coordinated enough and went out of bounds before he tried to throw the ball.
He jumped in the air and was trying to get a handle on it. It was going to save it and instead threw it against the leg of the Eagle, but he was already too late, stepped on the line. Inbound to Mackey in the backcourt. He'll bring it up against the double pressure at the timeline. He's got a trap on him. Eagles need to come back and help. Coaching staff screaming for the black and gold to get back there to help him out. And finally, Acosta does get the pass in the front court. Top of the circle. Hands it off to Pena. Dribbles the right side. Backdoor cut for Mackey on the right glass. He puts it up and in and pushed in the back. Count the bucket. A chance for a 3-point play for Michael Mackey. And a beautiful pass getting it there.
Exactly. It was exactly where it needed to be. And he was underneath the basket just in time to get that basket to go in.
Second team foul against the Rams. 4 points for Michael Mackey now. He leads Eagles in scoring. A tray for Marquez got it started off in the first quarter. Mackey up on the line. He's shooting 57% this season. 12 of 21 from the charity stripe and was 5 of 7 against Centennial. Shot is up and rolling around the rim, bouncing around and good. He's got 5 points. They called the foul on that previous one on Johnson. That's his second personal already, so he had to take a seat. He's a big, bulky kid, too. They could use him physically in the game, but he's coming out. Bynum will bring it across the timeline. Pass to the right wing to Wood. Wood will return it back up top to Jamal Bynum. Backs out to the timeline, guarded by Mackey, giving him a little bit of a cushion. Unloads the ball to the right wing with a jab step now is Wood. Top of the circle with the dribble, left elbow. Fade back with a shot on the way off the front of the rim, no good. Tipped around, put back up on the left glass by Presser. He's got a bucket and now 2 rebounds. 8-5, Hobbs by 3, 3:44 left here in the first. Mackey with the basketball on the far right. Brings it across the timeline. In front of the Rio Rancho bench now in the front court. He wants a clear out. Going to get a screen on the right wing by Acosta. Slings it up top to Argot. Jab step, dribbles left with the handoff over to Marquez, left wing. Up top to Acosta. Takes a step and tries to drive to the lane right side. He gets a hold on the back of his hip that time as they get the foul call on Esteban Morales, his first. third Rio Rancho team foul. So far, Ron, both teams with 3 fouls. They're going to have to watch that a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of aggression for the Hobbs Eagles, especially when they're trying to get the basket to their rim. It just doesn't look like it right now.
Eagles will get the inbound to Mackey on the right wing. Stutter step, uses up the dribble, throws it back deep to Pena on the right side. Over to Argot, top of the circle, returns to Pena at the timeline. Comes around the right circle with the dribble, crossover move with the screen from Acosta. Sends it up top to Argot, underhands to Mackey on the left wing, dribbling through his legs on a double team. Uses up the dribble now with a big pivot, looking for help, lost the ball, picks it up, comes down the lane, and gets hammered to the back of the head as he leans to the hoop, coming down the middle of the paint. That should be a shooting foul there. Almost took his head off, and that will be the 14th foul on the Rams as Mackey getting a good first step. Did bobble it for just a second off the dribble as they get the foul call. They charge that to Presser, his first. And now Mackey on the line. He's 1 for 1. Second free throw for the game is up and good. He leads the team now with 6 points of the 8 the Eagles have on the scoreboard. Coach Reeves going to go to his bench now, and he brings onto the court Jordan Chisholm. Chisholm coming in for Brian Acosta. Mackey's second free throw is up and good, a swish. Mackey perfect 3 for 3 on the line now, 7 points leading the Eagles and both teams. It's 10-5. Hobbs doubling up on Rio Rancho, their biggest lead of the ball game. Ball in the hands now of Bynum as he comes across the timeline, sends it to Wood on the right wing, to the right block to Presser, spins in triple team traffic. Up top, a 3 for Bynum off the pass, hit hard off the rim, and coming with the dribble now after the rebound is Marquez, his second board. Into the front court now to set up the offense for the Eagles, who lead by 5. Tries to hand off at the timeline, coming backward and banging into both of them. Morales with Marquez and Pena coming together. So they're going to call that against Morales. I believe that's going to be his second personal and the 15th foul already on the Rams. We're still 2:38 left in the first quarter, and already the Rams have 2 guys in foul trouble, as that includes Morales and Johnson, both with 2. Inbound to the backcourt to Mackey with 2:35 left first quarter. Double team pressure in the backcourt on the trap. He gets past both of them into the front side. Gives it off right corner for 3 to Vega, who just checked in off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound on the far sideline, pulled down by Wood for the Rams. Sends it across, but a bad pass picked off by Pena for the Rams' 4th turnover. Pena at the top of the circle front court, slings it down right, blocked at Chisholm. Turn around with a quick J and puts it over the whole right side. Count it. And a timeout on the court for the Rams. They don't like what's happening here. The Eagles extended their lead to 7, the biggest of the game, at 12-5 with 2:16 remaining in the first quarter. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle tournament action here on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports Channel. No radio coverage for these 3 days, but right. Ron, early start time. Eagles not looking too bad to start it off here, though.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a slow start for them, but on the other hand, they do have the lead, which is very good so far this season. They haven't had too many of those happening, and this is their 3rd game. But I think that we're going to see a little bit more positive things going on in this game, especially since the Rio Rancho Rams are already in foul trouble, as you've said. So I think they have a little bit more room now to wiggle with, the Eagles do, as far as being able to do some different things, new looks, and maybe even try some aggressive moves that I'd like to see them do throughout this game.
The Eagles playing the 8:30 game. Next up on the schedule for the boys' side of the brackets, Carlsbad taking on Los Lunas. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game. So definitely a possibility of playing a district opponent or the team that they played last year for the championship of this tournament, Los Lunas. Of course, Carlsbad, though, went to overtime against Las Cruces on Tuesday night. Lost a close one there in Las Cruces. Rio Rancho basketball after their timeout, slinging around the outside of the three-point arc. Bynum gets it down in the lane to Wood. Fadeaway jumper from the left elbow off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound middle of the paint, throwing up a hook shot. His Presser can't get it to drop. Ball's tipped out of bounds. It'll be Hobbs basketball. So still a 12-5 ball game. Eagles by 7 with 1:53 remaining here in the first. In the trap pressure now for the Rams. They've got a 1-2-2 full court press trap going on. Inbound to the near sideline to Pena. Cross court right to Mackey, still in the backcourt. Picks up double team pressure. His pass is deflected and picked off by Lucero for the 3rd turnover. Down the lane with the pass to the left block is Archuleta leaning in and scoring off the left side of the rim. Archuleta's first bucket of the ball game. It's now 12-7. Near sideline, Pena gets a pass, throws it across court to Chisholm in the front court. Hands off right to Mackey. He'll slow it up in front of the scorer's table. He wants to clear out on the right wing. Gets a screen from Chisholm. Puts it up top to Argot. Back door with the cut to Pena. Goes up against two defenders with a shot. Point-blank range. Left side is no good, but a rebound off the back of the rim by Presser. He's fouled quickly. His fourth board. Eagles not getting a butt on him on the blockouts, and he's making a difference in the paint on the rebounds. That will be the 14th foul against the Eagles. They'll charge that one to Chisholm, his first. Inbound comes to Bynum in the backcourt. A sub comes on for the Eagles. Caleb Lehman, as Bynum beats him across the timeline. A bad pass down the lane. Ricochet, still loose on the court, top of the circle. He's picked up on the left elbow by Parisian. Stolen away, though, by the Eagles. Lehman, that'll be the fifth Ram turnover. Comes into the front court, tries to pass right to Pena, but throws it behind him to the scores table out of bounds for the Eagles' fourth turnover. We talked about turnovers before this game, and Ron, both teams kind of suffering from that problem so far, both averaging over 20 turnovers a ball game. They've got to get cleaned up quickly.
Yeah, it's just not being on the same page. That's exactly what's going on. That's why the turnovers are happening.
Got to get it off early in the season and to get the rust out. Inbound comes the right block, and it's fumbled away for Rio Rancho. Going to the other end is Lehman with a little scoop shot in the left glass and scores. Lehman's first bucket of this ball game. That was the sixth Rio Rancho turnover. Now 14-7. Eagles doubling up on Rio Rancho. 35 left in the quarter. Jump stop in the free throw lane. To Bynum, goes back door. A little push shot over the left rim is no good for Rio Rancho by make that Parisian, and the Eagles get the rebound as it's pulled down by Pena. Into the front court, fires up a three on the right wing and puts it through the hole. Had four against Centennial, and that's his first bucket of the game for Abraham Pena, and the Eagles' second tray, as Hobbs now with their biggest lead of 10, 17-7, 10 seconds left first quarter. Slowing the game up just a bit as he comes across the timeline is Bynum, guarded by Lehman for the Eagles. Comes around the right circle, they could call the hold on Lehman. That's his first personal, 15th foul against the Eagles. We saw Lehman come in the second half against Centennial, getting his first action of the season. He's showing a little bit of promise out there and getting himself up and down the court just a bit. Coach Salada's going to bring on three subs for Rio Rancho. He'll have the basketball on the near sideline, right side. And now Coach Reeves going to go to his bench and bring in big man Parker Henderson with some big size. He's the tallest kid on the court in this ball game. He got a lot of JV action against Centennial on Tuesday night. High inbound to the back door to Presser. He's going to take a shot from 15. Hits hard off the rim. No good. Big rebound at the buzzer for the Eagles by Abraham Pena, his second. And that'll end the first quarter of action. Your Eagles have their biggest lead of the game by 10 at the end of one, 17-7 over Rio Rancho. We'll take a quick 60-second break and come back live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports Channel. Welcome back to the Tournament of Champions here in Artesia. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you this morning. We don't say that very often.
Not at all. Thankfully, no.
17-7, Hobbs leading in the first round of the tournament over Rio Rancho by 10. As Eagles will get it going. So far, the leading scorer, Michael Mackey, was 7. Devon Marquez and Abraham Pena both have trays for 3, and 2 apiece for Lehman and Chisholm. For Rio Rancho, their top scorer is Bynum with 3 and 2 points for Archuleta. Turnover on the first play for the Eagles, and now it's going to be Rio Rancho into the front court. On the right wing with the spin move is Johnson. Dumps it in the paint, fumbled by Presser. Loose, and there's Marquez to pick it up for the Eagles for the 7th Rio Rancho turnover. Rancho with 7 and 4 turnovers for the Eagles. Coming across the timeline is Mackey with 7:28 left, second quarter. Gets a screen on the right wing by Acosta. Pass it up top instead to Argot to the left wing. He slides left with the dribble, getting a double team on him. Bounce pass back to Acosta coming down the lane. Misses a layup over the front of the rim. Loose and rolled down in the left block by Presser. That's already his 5th rebound. Across the timeline, throws to Johnson. Comes down the lane with a double clutch on the right side of the glass. Count it, and the foul. Got pushed in the back. Count the basket there for Rio Rancho. And that will be the first bucket of the game for Jaden Johnson. He is straddled, though, with 2 fouls so far, so he's got to be careful. That'll be the 16th foul on the Eagles, 1 away from the bonus as they charge that one to Brian Acosta, his first. Bynum 1 of 2. Johnson, first free throw of the game off the back of the rim, though. It's tipped out off the hands of Bynum. It'll be Hobbs' ball. Eagles' top rebounder so far. Couple of guys, Devon Marquez and Abraham Pena, both with 2. And for Rio Rancho, it's 5 for Maddox Presser. We expected that as we talked about him in the pregame show. He had 9 rebounds against Amarillo High the other night. Ball comes across the timeline as Mackey will hook it up with Acosta coming down the lane. Double clutch, no good. Gets his own rebound, tries to tap it up. It won't drop. And brought down on the right block from the big man Presser for Rio Rancho now with his 6th rebound. Outlet to the timeline. Bynum will bring it across for the Rams. Sends it to the right corner. Couple of dribbles and returns it, does Morales back to the right side to Bynum and back deep again to Johnson. No look pass to the left wing to Archuleta. He'll hold the ball for a second. Both number 22s guarding each other. Pena against Archuleta. Cross court right, directed to Johnson. Tries to get it down the lane. It's deflected for just a minute. Picked up by Bynum. He'll back it out to the timeline. Finds Morales on the left wing. Triple threat position. Slings it up top to Presser. Dumps it off to the right wing to Bynum. Fumbled it for a second. Goes down low to the right block to Morales. Leans and shoots in his foul with a shove in the back by the Eagles. They count the basket for Morales.
Yeah, that was a nice acrobatic shot. As he was fading back, he was able to get that shot in. And that's one of those that's very difficult to defend against. That's why the foul.
Costa with his 2nd personal 17th foul. That means the Rams will be in the bonus the rest of the half. Coach Reeves will go to the bench and bring back on the court Jordan Chisholm. Mackey's on the court as well. Argot, Marquez, and Pena.
Second time for the Rams on the line. Meanwhile, Hobbs has not scored a bucket yet in this quarter.
Free throw missed. Rebound pulled up underneath the hoop by Chisholm, his first. Rams are now 1 of 3 from the charity, make it 1 of 4 from the charity stripe for 25%. Mackey now dribbling behind his back across the timeline, throws it off to Pena. Drives the right side of the lane, shot from the right elbow off the side of the rim, no good. Pulled down high off the board from Johnson, his 2nd. Sends it ahead to a breaking guard, Archuleta, who lays it in with the scoop on the right side, his first bucket. 17-13. Rio Rancho's had 6 scores so far and 5 for the Eagles, and we've got a timeout as Coach Reeves wants to talk about the press breaker here, as Rancho is now starting to spread the court on their defense, and now just a 4-point lead for the Eagles. They were up 17-7 at the end of 1. They have not scored a bucket, as you mentioned, and a total of 6 points for Rancho, 6-0 run so far.
And that's one of the reasons also why you want to stop the action, get your guys back in the game, get your head on straight, and be able to get back into it. Maybe even build the lead from 6 points. But at this point, you want to stop the bleeding and get back into it.
So 17-13 your score. We mentioned the winner of this game plays either Carlsbad or Los Lunas. And, of course, we talked about Carlsbad Tuesday night. We were tracking that game against Las Cruces and went down to the wire, just a couple-point difference between the 2 teams in overtime. And kind of coincidentally, Hobbs went in overtime, of course, against Centennial that same night, Tuesday. But Carlsbad's a tough team. I had a chance to watch them a couple games back this season, and they're pretty much where they were last year. A good, sharp shooter out there. They're going to shoot it from any distance, and definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the district. And, of course, Los Lunas was in the tournament championship last year. Hodge has just checked in. Peyton Hodge for the Eagles. He goes back door with the pass. A shot point blank from Argot, no good. And pulled down by Presser on that right block for his 7th rebound for the Rams. But he lost the ball. Hodge takes it away for the Rams' 8th turnover. Hodge returns it to the timeline to Pena. Dribbles left around the circle. He'll continue to the left side and gets a screen from Chisholm. Bounce pass up top to Argot. Comes to the right circle, gives to Hodge. Hodge dribbling through his legs on the right wing in front of the Rancho bench. Gets a screen on the right wing from Argot. Kick it up top to Chisholm. Backdoor pass, and there they go, getting you to sleep for the Eagles. Pena gets the recipient of the pass and lays it on the left side. He's got 5. 19-13, and a long ball to the other end, a block from behind on top of Wood as Mackey swatted the basketball, but they're going to say he bited him up as well. We're going to see if they got a foul on this or not. Might have just called the whistle going out of bounds, but no, it looks like they're going to line up for some free throws here. So that will be for the Eagles, their 18th foul. Make sure that was a foul call they got on Mackey that time. Yep, that is his second already. And that will put on the line Wood. He did do a great job of blocking the ball, but pinned it to the backboard, but a body from behind. Wood's getting his first opportunity from the charity stripe in this one and makes it his first point of the ball game. They're now 2 for 5 for 40% are the Rams. Eagles, on the other hand, perfect. All 3 free throws from Mackey have been put through the hole, 3 for 3.
I think that's the reason why is because they're coming from Mackey and nobody else so far.
As we wait for the second free throw for Mikey Wood. He is the 7th scorer for the Rams. No good on the left side of the rim. Pull down for Hodge. Peyton Hodge gets his first rebound. Lost the ball coming up the far sideline. It's taken away by Maddox Presser for the Eagles' 5th turnover. Gives it off to Bynum in the backcourt. Throws it across the timeline to the right wing to Morales. Dribbles up top, guarded closely by Pena. One-hand bounce pass to Presser left wing. Keeps it same side to Bynum. On the left wing in front of the Hobbs bench, drives the lane, tries to shoot double clutch over 2 defenders, leaning into his defender, and they call the foul on Argot. Argot had his hands straight up. I guess they're going to say he hipped him just a bit. That'll be the second on Argot and the 19th foul. So the Eagles now starting to track these calls left and right, and got to be careful about the foul trouble.
Yeah, Rancho seems to be getting more aggressive as far as the offensive side, and that's why they're drawing these fouls.
First free throw is a brick off the back of the rim for Bynum. He's now 1 of 3 for 33%. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Basketball at the Artesia Tournament of Champions on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports Channel. We won't have radio for the next couple of games after this, but we'll return to our regular radio broadcast. We have the Stuff a Truck food drive going on our radio stations the next few days. Jamal Bynum with his second free throw leans into it and puts it through. He's got 4 points. 19-14, Eagles by 5, 4:28 left, second quarter. Pena's getting a double team in the backcourt. Lost the ball. It's taken away by Bynum. Goes with the reverse layup on the right side of the glass and scores. Bynum now with 6 points and the 6th Eagle turnover. Quick inbound to the left corner to Vega in the backcourt. Gets a double team. Cross court right. Hodge has to jump up for it. He gets hit in the neck with an arm by Wood, who just picked up his first personal and the 16th foul on the Rams. And Coach Reeves is yelling at his players to come back and help out with that pressure that's coming on by the Rams, trying to double-team trap deep in the backcourt against the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, if anybody should know how to play against a press like this, it should be the Hobbs Eagles.
Inbound to Mackey, deep in the backcourt, right side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Slings it over to Pena, returns to Mackey, trying to move the defense. Cross-court left into the front court to Vega. He's going to fire up a 3 and nails it. So Braylon Vega coming off the bench for a tray. That's the 3rd tray of the game for the Eagles, who now lead by 5, 22-17. A steal by Pena. He fires a 3 that clinks off the left side of the rim. Mackey saves it off the rebound, his second. Up top to a wide-open Eagle for another 3, back-to-back for Braylon Vega. Boy, coming off the bench for 2 big trays, top of the circle on that one, and that's going to cause Coach Salata to call the timeout. 3:41 left here in the second. The Eagles starting to pull away over the Rams, 25-17. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you as the Hobbs Eagles leading over Rio Rancho 25-17. First round of the Tournament of Champions in Artesia. After a Rancho timeout, Bynum will bring it across the timeline, sends it down to the right wing to Archuleta. Kicks it to the right elbow, pivoting his presser, 360, looking for help. Gives it off to Lucero on the right side. Down to the right corner to Archuleta. Kicks it back deep to reset to Bynum. Slings over to the left wing to Lucero. Dump it to the left block. Spin and Wood as a fadeaway jumper from the free throw line. It's no good. Chased down in the left corner of the backcourt and getting knocked down to the ground for the Eagles, Abraham Pena. After picking up his 3rd rebound, they called the body foul on Artesia. Or correction, Rio Rancho. We're in Artesia today. That's going to be the 17th foul against the Rams. There'll be a 1-on-1 bonus for the Eagles as they charge the foul to Presser. So now 3 players with 2 fouls for the Rams, Morales, Johnson, and Presser. Definitely going to change the coaching strategy for Coach Salata for the Rams. Pena on the line, yet to shoot a free throw. Hobbs 3 for 3 because of Michael Mackey so far. And Pena swishes his free throw. We mentioned in Tuesday night's action that Hobbs been running the suicide drills for their free throws in practice. He missed more than 4 in the group set. You're going to be running full court suicide. So if you haven't played basketball or had a coach that's run those, that just means running, pretty much.
Exactly. Nobody really likes to run. And if they did, they'd be on track.
Pena makes the second free throw as well. Hobbs perfect 5 for 5. And Pena now with 7 points, tied up with Mackey for top scorer. Top scorer for Rio Rancho at this point, 6 for Jamal Bynum. He's the man dribbling across the timeline. Passes off to the right wing to Lucero. Dump it to the right block. Johnson spins, reverse layup left. Ball rolls around the rim and is flushed through. Johnson with 4 points, all coming in this second quarter. 27-19, an errant pass. Loose on the far sideline, picked up by Pena. One hands it to the timeline. It knocks off Mackey's hands, but picked up by Argot on the left wing and hands it back to Mackey. Left side with 2:45 remaining. Dribbling behind his back and puts the ball up top. Thought about a 3 to Chisholm. Bounces it back door instead. There's Pena, but misses a layup on the right side of the lane. Loose on the baseline right and picked up for Rio Rancho by Archuleta. He falls to the floor and is taken away by Argot for the 10th turnover. Argot finds Mackey left baseline, the 15-footer no good, and picked up the rebound on the right bases. Wood, and almost throws it right to us at the scores table. As Wood throws it out of bounds, referee's waiting a minute to see who that's going to be out on. It will be a turnover for the Rams. Their 11th turnover. That ball almost hit you right in the camera there, didn't it?
Yeah, I was too busy trying to keep up with it and didn't even realize it.
So Hobbs now has caused a total of 11 turnovers for Rio Rancho. They've only had 6 themselves. Pena with the basketball on the right wing with 2:15 remaining in the second. Up top to Chisholm. Dribbles left with a handoff to Mackey. Mackey will use up the dribble. Finds Argot top of the circle. His pass deflected right back to him. Good hands in the defense area by Wood in the passing lane. Chisholm has it at the top of the circle, takes a lefty dribble and hands it off to Pena. Drives the lane, left elbow, pivots, double team, bad pass. It's knocked away by Wood on the steal. Eagles 7 turnover. Woods tries to throw it down the lane, knocks off the hands of Archuleta, sails out to the Hobbs Eagle bench for a Rams turnover. So now get kind of sloppy here late in the second quarter. 12 turnovers for the Rams, 7 for the Eagles.
Well, that's what happens when you have like 2 things on mind, including, getting to the goal and making a basket. First, you got to get the ball, control it, and then you get to score.
The Eagles have to reset this press breaker against the trap pressure of Rio Rancho. Inbound to Mackey, right sideline. Gives it back to Marquez, who just checked in. Marquez will send it down deep to Argot on the right wing. Drives the lane against double team pressure underneath the hoop. Lost the ball as he tried to pass. Johnson gets the steal, the 8th Eagle turnover. Johnson in the lane, 1-on-2, reverse layup left, and misses it off the front of the rim. Rebound on the right block by Archuleta. Fadeaway jumper rejected by Chisholm from the right block. And the ball sails out of bounds on the near sideline on the right side.
The Rams are doing everything right except for the fact that they're not being able to finish and get that bucket.
Eagles been blocking some shots at point-blank range in the paint. As Argot will take a seat, getting a breather. Checking in for the Eagles, Braylon Vega, who's hit 2 trays in this second quarter. Inbounding deep right corner, Wood in the front court. He's going to send it back deep to the timeline. Having to jump forward is Lucero, as he is guarded by Caden Hall, who just checked in. Back to the timeline to Bynum. Out on D is Vega now for the Eagles. Clock down to 1:16 left first half, 27-19 Eagles. Unload to the right wing to Bynum. Bynum drives the baseline, gets knocked to the floor. I think they got Caden Hall with the hip that time, and they're going to call the foul on him. His first 10th team foul. That's a double bonus, so just like a shooting foul for Rio Rancho. Make sure who they called that. No, they called that instead on Devon Marquez. That's his second, so Hall escapes with one there. Hall was just kind of watching the play at the end. And on the line will be Bynum. Bynum is 2 for 4 for 50%. Shot is up and good. He's got 7 points to lead the Rio Rancho Rams. 1:12 left here in the second. A 7-point Eagle lead, been as big as 10-point lead here in the first half. Second shot for Bynum is off the front of the rim, no good. Underneath the hoop is Caden Hall with his first rebound. Gives to Mackey deep on the baseline, over to Marquez left side. He's got double team pressure, beats him across. Crossover move down the lane, bounce pass, back door. A 1-2 combination as Chisholm lays it in for 2. Nice pass on the run there by Marquez. His Chisholm's 4th point and a bad inbound, stepping on the line for Rio Rancho on the baseline after the made bucket. That's going to be their 13th turnover. Eagles can extend on a 9-point lead, 29-20 with 56 left here in the second. Eagles do a stack left baseline, inbound to Mackey, has to save it, but right back to Rio Rancho, picked off by Archuleta for the Eagles' 9th turnover. Archuleta tries to dribble down the lane and lost the basketball, back over to Vega for their 14th turnover. Vega in the front court on a double team on the left wing, crossover move down the lane, little scoop over the front of the rim and puts it through. Nice finger control going to the top of the iron that time for Vega. He comes off the bench for 8 points here in the second quarter alone. Eagles have their biggest lead of 11. It is 31-20 with 28 seconds left. Dish off to the left wing, a 3 on the way for the Rams, and they convert as Archuleta puts it through the hole. The first tray of the game for Rio Rancho. Archuleta's got 5 from that left wing. 31-23, Eagles by 8. Pass to half court, going back towards Marquez and finds again Chisholm. Back-to-back plays, exactly carbon copy. Chisholm lays it in for his 6th point of the ball game. 33-23, Hobbs by 10 with 4 seconds left. Driving the lane to the baseline is Bynum. Kicks out left wing, Archuleta for 3 at the buzzer, and it sails out the back of the iron. So the Hobbs Eagles have a double-digit lead at the half over Rio Rancho, 33-23. First round tournament action. The Tournament of Champions in Artesia will return here at halftime in 3 minutes. Welcome back to Artesia, the Tournament of Champions, live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you this morning as the Eagles have a 10-point lead at the half in the first round, 33-23 over the Rio Rancho Rams. And, of course, we mentioned the winner of this game will play the winner of the Carlsbad-Los Lunas contest, which is later today. And that should be an exciting game tomorrow if that does happen for the Hobbs Eagles. And a little bit later if they do Hobbs does win this game, it'll be about 4:15 or so, I believe, tomorrow. So that'll be a little bit later time to have to wait for and not have an early game. Now, if they will lose the game, Hobbs would have to play around 10:30 or so tomorrow. So that would be
10:30, something like that.
Yeah, so another morning contest. So definitely want to stay out of the consolation bracket and move into the 4 o'clock plus game tomorrow. Now the problem is, just like with the Hobbs Holiday Tournament, both the boys and the girls for Artesia, as the tournament progresses, they get the late game. So tomorrow and Saturday, if let's say they get bounced out of the winner's side and they go to the consolation, even if that game would have been at 10:30, they're going to move that to the night game. So that's going to change up the schedule on this tournament. We're not going to know for sure what the situation is going to be at this point. Now, tomorrow, I believe the Artesia boys are already scheduled for the 7:30 game, so it shouldn't affect the Eagles game. But we had some games change up last year to last second. Of course, the Eagles bus got stuck with that big accident on going to Artesia. They had to turn around and go through Carlsbad, and I was right behind them last year on that situation. So they had to play a later game because of that, and that kind of changes up the whole thing. So we'll hopefully have everything decided what's going on with the schedule here as we progress. Let's take a look at the numbers, first of all, for Rio Rancho. Nobody in double digits yet for them. Jamal Bynum does have 7 points. Been at the line quite a bit. He's 3 of 6 from the charity stripe, so he's a guy that does scrap quite a bit in the paint. After him, Jerry Archuleta with 5 points. He did hit the lone tray shot for Rio Rancho in the first half. Jaden Johnson has 4 points, 0 for 1 on the line, and 2 rebounds. Kevin Archuleta hit a bucket for 2, has 2 boards as well. Mikey Wood went 1 of 2 from the line for 1 point and 2 rebounds. Esteban Morales hit a bucket for 2. He's 0 for 1 on the line. And Matt Expressor, their big rebounder, he has 2 points and 7 boards. So far, 7 players have scored for Rio Rancho. They had 13 rebounds, led by Presser's 7, and they've had a total of 14 turnovers in the first half. For the Hobbs Eagles, they have nobody in double digits yet, but they do have 7 players in the books at this point, or make it 6, I should say, getting close to double digits. Brightland Vega coming off the bench with 8 points, and Rondi had 2 3-pointers to start off back-to-back, and also had another bucket. So that kid is trying to tell Coach Rees, give me a starting spot.
Exactly. He knows how to hit the threes, and he's doing so far so good with it. And if he continues doing so, of course, we'll see some great point production from him.
And it's good to see these guys coming off the bench and trying to get their spot in the chemistry on this team as well. A lot of youngsters that didn't get any varsity time last year, so this is definitely the part of the season that you try to look at that, and at tournaments too. So Vega leads with 8. Michael Mackey with 7 points. All those coming in the first quarter. Hit a couple of buckets early, then hit 3 free throws. Perfect on the line, 3 for 3. So definitely what you want to see for a team that has been struggling with free throws up until this game. Abraham Pena has the same amount as Mackey, 7 points. He had a tray in the first quarter and then had a bucket and 2 free throws in the second. So he's perfect on the line, 2 for 2. So Mackey and Pena combining for 14 of the Eagles' 33 points. Jordan Chisholm coming off the bench as well. He had 6 points, 2 buckets in the second quarter. So definitely the football legs starting to get into the hardwood mode here is definitely helping out the team with the physicality in the paint. Caleb Lehman with 2 points in the first half as well. And Devon Marquez hit a tray for 3 points. So Hobbs again with 6 scores at this point, led by Vegas 8. Mackey and Pena with 7, Chisholm 6, and Marquez 3, Lehman 2. Eagles have hit 4 3-pointers so far in the contest, and we mentioned 2 of those from Vega, 1 apiece from Marquez and Pena. Eagles with a total of 11 rebounds, so they've been outboarded by 2 versus the Rams, but they do have less turnovers with a total of 9, again compared to 14 from Rio Rancho. Hobbs free throw shooting up to this point with not a lot of guys getting a chance to shoot. Mackey and Pena the only 2, but they are perfect, 5 for 5 from the line in the first half. So your score at the half, 33-23, Hobbs leading by 10. We'll take a break, about 2 minutes, and we'll come back with the second half action live from the Tournament of Champions in Artesia on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Back live here in Artesia at the Bulldog Pit as the Hobbs Eagles taking on Rio Rancho the first round of the Tournament of Champions on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you as we are ready for the battle between the Hobbs Eagles second half with Rio Rancho. Hobbs wearing the black uniforms and Rio Rancho with the whites. Half court inbound for the Rams to get the second half started. Eagles up by 10. Inbound to the back court to Bynum. Taking his time, Marquez going to guard him at the timeline. Pass down to the right wing, complete to Morales. Sends it to the free throw line to Presser. Drives the lane with reverse layup right. Misses off the back of the rim. Put back up by Johnson on the left glass and scores. That's his third rebound and 6 point for Jaden Johnson. 33-25, Eagles by 8. Back in the backcourt. He gets some pressure with the trap. Throws it to the near side to Pena, still in the backcourt. Cross court left to Mackey. Mackey will come across the timeline off the dribble. And he'll slow up to set up the offense. Comes around the left circle in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Back deep to Marquez at the timeline with the jab step. Cross over to the left side. Hand off to Mackey. Comes right with it. Unloads to Pena. Alley-oop back door on the give and go to Mackey. And the ball bounces around the back of the rim. Somehow doesn't come in. It comes off and it's knocked out of bounds, though, by Rio Rancho. I cannot believe that ball did not stay in the cylinder and fall through the net there.
I know, I thought for a second it was just going to camp out and be there for a while.
So it doesn't count, but an inbound quickly for the Eagles to the left corner to Pena with the jab step. He'll slide out of the defender and returns to the timeline off the dribble. Top of the circle, around the right side now goes Pena. Crossover move after a screen from Argot. Kicks it up top to Acosta. Finds Mackey on the handoff left side. To the right to Argot. Handoff to Marquez on the right wing. Up top, very quick ball movement to Acosta now. Dribbles left, hands off to Mackey. Kicks it up top to Argot. Holds the ball for just a second. Gives the handoff to the right side to Pena. Pena top of the circle, zigzag. Go back deep to Acosta, left wing now. Backdoor cut for Mackey. Throws it short in the lane and taken away by Presser for the Eagles' 10th turnover.
All that work and nothing to show for it.
6:28 remaining here in the third quarter. Hobbs by 8. Pass to the free throw line. Driving with the lefty reverse as Johnson gets fouled. Chopped hard by Pena. That'll be the first on Pena. First team foul against the Eagles here in the third quarter. And they're going to have a shooting foul on that. The ball got away, and they had to go chase it down to just a second. As going to the line is Johnson. He's 0 for 1 from the charity stripe. Rio Rancho with 10 free throws so far and have converted on 4 of them for 40%. First one's a clinker off the front of the rim, no good, but he will get one more. Johnson now 0 for 2 on the line. Trying to break an 8-point deficit for the Rio Rancho Rams. The Eagles beat them last year 78-61 in the semifinals of this tournament by 17. Second free throw's a swish for Johnson. He's got 7 points. Marquez running up and down the baseline. They got the 5-second violation call. And Coach Reeves is telling his team, cannot run away from the ball. Got to go help out your teammate. And that time made the Eagles pay for it, unfortunately, as that will be the 11th turnover on the 5-second violation. Mackey's going to take a break for the Eagles as Lehman comes in. Inbound in the middle. The paint is fumbled by Presser. Picked up at the top of the arc for the Rams by Morales. Kick it left for 3 on the way for Archuleta off the back of the rim. And a rebound pulled down underneath the hoop for the Eagles by Argot, his first. Outlet to Marquez in the near sideline front court. Back deep to Pena, top of the circle. 6 minutes left, third quarter. Hobbs by 7. Sliding right now, pass back to the left to Marquez. Wide open left side 3 on the way. Off the back of the rim, high bouncer. And pulled down hard on the left block by Johnson for the Rams, his 4th. He'll dribble into the front court, weaving through traffic. Runs over to Hobbs Eagle defender, no call, but a scoop shot on the right side and putting it through is Johnson. He's got 5 points here in the third quarter and 9 overall. A 5-point Eagle lead. Marquez in the front court on the right wing. Debo with the basketball, dribbles to the top of the circle. Extends to the left wing and then backs it out to the timeline with a handoff to Pena. Pena's going to slow the offense just a bit. Comes right with it. On the near sideline. Goes base. 15-footers rejected in midair by Bynum. And pulled down by Archuleta on the rebound. Send it ahead to the right wing. Driving hard as Johnson gets kneed. They call the trip foul on the Eagles on the far sideline in front of the Rio Rancho bench. So that will be a Hobbs Eagles second team foul. And that'll be a charge foul to the Eagles' Lehman, his second. Marquez will take a break for the Eagles. And Mackey back on the court for Hobbs. Alley-oop back door on the inbound. Coming down with it is Presser. A hook shot over the front of the rim. No good. Mackey rips down the boards underneath. That's his 3rd rebound. He'll take the dribble himself in the transition. Throws it across to the left wing to Pena. Down to Lehman in the left corner. 1-2 dribble. Back deep to Pena at the timeline. 5 minutes left third quarter. Eagles up by 5. Slings it left to Mackey, and there's an illegal screen. As Mackey got loose, it looked like helping him get loose with a big knee on the screen for the Eagles was Acosta. That is going to be his third personal and the third team foul. So that'll be a turnover as well for the Eagles, their 12th of the ball game. Rio Rancho basketball in front of the Hobbs bench on the far side. Inbound to the back, deep in the backcourt to Bynum. He'll go one-on-one against Jordan Chisholm, who just checked in. Comes across the timeline with the crossover move. Down the lane, hippity-hop. Bounce pass back door, fumbled by Presser. It's loose on the floor and a big pile-up for it. And getting a piece of it, diving on the floor for the Eagles, was Chisholm to tie it up, and the arrow going to go for Hobbs. So that will be a Rio Rancho turnover, their 15th of the ball game. Eagles really had to work hard, Ron, to get the ball up the court. A lot of pressing action going on here for Rio Rancho.
And they're still doing it.
The inbound comes into the near sideline to Pena. Bad pass to the timeline, ripped away by Johnson for the Eagles' 13th turnover. He goes to rack, reverse layup left, misses. Mackey with the board, and he's going to take the dribble up the court. Mackey bounce pass to the right block. Chisholm coming down the lane. Puts it back out to Pena on the right wing for a fadeaway three. Right over the defense of Johnson, right with a hand in his face. And a tray put down by Pena. He's got 2 of those in the game and has 10 points overall. Rio Rancho calls a timeout. 4:24. Yeah, the ball came bouncing right to me there, but 4:24 left in the third. Your Eagles by 8, 36-28 over the Rams. We'll take a 30-second break and come back on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back at the Tournament of Champions in Artesia, Ty friend Ron Gunner with you as the Hobbs Eagles an 8-point lead over Rio Rancho, 36-28. Of course, big trade is converted by Pena, his second of the game. Eagles now have 5 trays in the contest, 2 for Vega, 2 for Pena, and 1 for Marquez. So an 8-point Eagle lead after the Rams timeout. Slowing it down is Bynum now after the inbound. Comes right with the bounce pass on the right elbow to Presser. Hands it back off to Bynum on the give and go. Right dribble to the baseline, and he'll back it out to the timeline off the dribble as well. Reset the offense. Top of the circle now. Kicks it down left wing to Archuleta. Jab step. He's guarded by Vega. Gets a screen to the free throw line. Kick down to the right corner to Bynum. Dumps it to the right block. Fadeaway jumper off balance. Off the back of the rim for Morales, no good, but going back up with it hard is Presser. He can't get the drop on the reverse layup. He got hurt coming down and might be a left ankle. Eagles get the rebound. Pena's 4th board now in the front court off the dribble, and Presser is limping all the way down the court. He's going to have to come off pretty quickly.
Yes, he will.
Pena going to fire up a 3 from the left side off the back of the rim, no good. Loose underneath the hoop. Getting a hand on it momentarily was Argot, got punched out of bounds, but it'll be Hobbs basketball. And as I mentioned, Presser's going to go out with an injury. It looks like maybe a high ankle sprain on that right side foot.
Probably ended up stepping on somebody as he landed on the ground just a moment ago.
He does battle pretty well, too, for a big kid. He's off the floor quite a bit. No laziness on his part. He's going to have to go see the trainer. Eagles will get the ball on the left baseline underneath their hoop. They'll stack it on the right side with Mackey on the left side of the lane. Inbounding for the Eagles is Vega. Gets it into Pena on the right wing. Gets stripped on the sideline. As soon as the steal was happening, Johnson steps on the line, so they whistled him dead quickly. So I don't know if they're going to call that as a turnover. We'll just say nothing on that one. Maybe they had a push call here.
No, that was a push call. It was a foul.
Yeah, they called a late foul against Johnson. He's looking amazed with his mouth wide open to the official that time. 3rd foul on Johnson. That'll be the first team foul here in the second half for the Rams. The inbound comes towards Mackey near the timeline, but pushed out for the defense of the Rams by Archuleta. Eagles will have to re-throw here. Back to Mackey. Gets the ball stripped at half court, and boy, Johnson is like a bullet towards the basketball. Where that ball gets thrown, he's going full speed at it and almost had a steal for the second time. Knocks it out of bounds.
Rams are definitely being aggressive so far this game.
Lehman will check in for the Eagles as Vega will take a breather. Lehman will inbound behind the timeline on the near sideline here in front of the scorers table. Clock stop with 3:30 left, third quarter. Hobbs by 8 over Rio Rancho. Mackey will come get it on the near side against 2 defenders. Drives the right baseline, leads and shoots a sidewinder. Hits the front of the rim, no good. Pulled down on the right block by Morales for his first board. Tries to pass, and it gets knocked out, though. Nice pressure put on by Chisholm. but it comes off his arm out of bounds on the left baseline in the backcourt. So Rams got to try to beat the man-to-man pressure D now for the Eagles. 2-1-2, full extended trap going on. They're going to back out of it, though, as the inbound comes to Bynum. Bynum's going to slow it down as he comes across the timeline at 3:15 left, third quarter. Top of the circle, guarded by Chisholm. Chisholm backing way back now, about 8 feet back from him. Top of the circle, on the handoff, gives it off to Morales going right to left. And a 10-second violation. Oh, wait, no. The official put 2 hands out straight in front of her. I thought she said 10 seconds. I was like, what's that call? But they called a push foul there as they'll charge out one of the Eagles. They have Chisholm down for 3. I only have him for 2, but 3 against Chisholm and the 14th foul. Pass up top and a travel called against Morales as he was trying to slide through the defender off the dribble and drug the feet after that. So that'll be the 16th turnover for the Rams. 36-28, Hobbs by 8 here in the third. Lehman inbound to Mackey up the far left sideline. On the left wing, and boy, getting away with this illegal screen was Argot. Knocked the guy to the ground. The official was turned around that time, didn't see it. Big shoulder blow there. Pass to Payne on the left wing. It's another screen from Argot. Boy, that kid likes to use his body to help his teammates. Backdoor cut for Chisholm. Tries to go up to get the pass through 2 defenders. Got sandwiched. They call the foul. And that will be for the Rams their second team foul. See what they're going to call this one against. A bunch of guys slamming on top of him that time. That's Bynum's first. Hobbs inbound from the right base. Lehman will throw it in for the Eagles. Bounce pass into Argot, right block. Has to save it, but threw a bad pass up the near sideline, and it's going to go out. And that'll be a turn for the Eagles near half court. So Hobbs with their 14th turnover of the ball game.
You don't expect a quarterback to do a bad pass, but that definitely was a bad pass.
Almost looked like Bynum might have got a piece of it from behind on that baseline. It kind of took off the trajectory of that pass up court. Bynum will come across the timeline, throws it off to the right wing. Pivoting is Archuleta, gets a screen right side from Johnson, drives the lane, a runner shot from the free throw line, bobbles around the rim and good. Putting it through is Archuleta. He's got 7. 36-30, a 6-point Eagle lead with 2:10 left here in the third. A steal on the inbound on the right side. Double clutch off the right glass for Johnson. So Johnson now with 11 points, 7 of those here in the third quarter, and the 15th Eagle turnover. It's a 4-point game. Hobbs by 36-32. Dribbling in the front court, Pena shot from the left elbow off the back of the rim, no good. And getting the ball originally was Morales, tipped out from behind for the Eagles by Chisholm on the baseline. It goes out and goes back to Rio Rancho. Coach Reeves goes back to the bench and brings in Devon Marquez coming in for Lehman, giving some quality time there for Hobbs. 4-point Eagle lead with 1:50 left third quarter. Inbound to Bynum. He'll beat Marquez across the time stripe, comes down the lane, all the way to the rack, lefty side on the reverse, and scores over 3 defenders. Just went all the way through 3 of them. He's got 9 points. And a quick whistle before the inbound. Looks like a hold going to be called on the Rams.
Against
looks like Morales picks
Mackey.
up. I call that against Rio Rancho on the hold there.
No, but it was against Mackey.
Oh, Mackey was the offensive player, right. Esteban Morales has just picked up his 3rd personal and the 3rd team foul against the Rams. Eagles have to face that pressure again. Inbound, far side of Pena. Stop and go dribble down the front court as he goes against the defense of Bynum. Backs it out to the timeline as he came across. 1:30 left in the third. Eagles by 2. Crossover move, right wing. Puts it up top to Acosta. Acosta comes left off the dribble. Hands off to Mackey for the Hobbs Eagle bench left side. He's going to slow it down now to set up the play. Wait for a screen and come over to help him on the left side is Acosta. Kick it up top to Chisholm instead to the right wing. Stop and go for him. Hand off on the near sideline to Pena. He jab steps. Back up top to Acosta. Marquez will come get it. Top of the circle. Drives the lane. Goes through 2 defenders. Reverse layup and air ball, though, unfortunately, underneath the hoop. Wood for the rebound for the Rams, his 3rd. Outlet to the far sideline to Johnson for the Rams. Comes down the lane. Lost it on the back of his leg. Picks it back up and tries to spin with it. They call the travel. So he had a fumble, tried to pick it up, and then moved his feet again underneath the hoop. And that will be the 17th turnover for the Rams. And, boy, Coach Salata is kind of doing a little carnival act on that sideline. Has got a little bit demonstrative there. Thought he might have got a travel he shouldn't have. He lost control, but he's able to pick it back up. But you're just not supposed to spin with it after you pick up the ball after a juggle like that. Marquez in the front court. He does a spin move. Turnaround Jay in the right block over the rim. No good. Rebound underneath by Wood. His 2nd in a row. He's got 4 now. Dribbles into the front court, weaving through traffic. Kicks off right side to Johnson, dribbling behind his back at the free throw line. Sends it over to left wing to Lucero for a fadeaway 3. They're going to call a little step before that on the travel. And that will be the 18th turnover for Rio Rancho. And just when you think Rancho's getting the ball movement, then they have the stutter steps. Twice in a row they've had to travel here.
Yeah, and they're not doing themselves any favors. Of course, right now it's a close game, 36-44. You don't expect such a low game from the Hobbs Eagles.
Well, they had one a few nights ago as well. Oh, we got a horn going off during the live ball. They should have stopped the game, but they're going to keep it going. Pass down to the right corner. Chisholm throws up a three off the back of the rim. Falling to the floor for the rebound for the Eagles was Vega. Ball got loose, though, on the turnover, and the Rams will pick it away for the 16th Eagle turnover. Throw it ahead to a breaking. Johnson misses the layup on the right side. No, it stays in the cylinder. I thought it was coming out. Johnson gets the bucket. Clock down to 9 seconds. Eagles tied up with 36. Going to the rack at the other end. Missing a scoop shot is Acosta. Acosta tries to get his own rebound, but steps on the baseline. So we got a tie score of 36 all with 4.6 remaining. Eagles setting up the pressure D with one man back for Hobbs to set up. That is Acosta. Now everybody's getting matched up. Inbound on the near sideline. Wood will bring it across off the dribble with two. Fires up an NBA three. Clinks off the back of the rim. No good. And we've got ourselves a tie to end the third quarter. 36-36, Hobbs and Rio Rancho. Come back at you in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Tournament of Champions live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Ty friend Ron Gunter with you. The Eagles and the Rams from Rio Rancho tied at 36. The Eagles not having a very productive third quarter, only 3 points in that quarter, and a total of 13 for Rio Rancho. So that's why the game is tied now, and Hobbs has got to pull themselves together here and try to get some production offensively. Eagles are led with 10 points for Abraham Pena. 8 for Vega, who's had a couple of trays to his name. Mackey was 7 and 6 for Chisholm. And for Rio Rancho now, they do have a double-digit score in Jaden Johnson. He had 13 total and had 9 of those in the third quarter. 9 for Jamal Bynum and 7 for Jerry Archuleta. Hobbs with a total of 16 turnovers and 19 for Rio Rancho. Top rebounder for the Rams, Maddox Presser, has 8 so far. And for your Hobbs Eagles, a tie, Michael Mackey and Abraham Pena, both with 4. Rams basketball to start the fourth. Pass down to the right baseline to Wood. He takes a few stutter steps, another travel. Rams have had a couple of those lately. Coach Salata shaking his head no, but that's going to be the 19th turnover for the Rams.
You think they'd be awake by the fourth quarter, but they seem to be starting to fall asleep.
Man-to-man pressure defense for the Rams against the Eagles. Pass to half court to Marquez. Devon will bring it across. A one-hander coming out of the left lane to Argot. Goes back door. Double-hand clutch shot at the rim on the right side on the back door to Hall. Or actually, that was Chisholm to put it through. He's got 8 points now. The Eagles getting a good transition look that time and take a 2-point lead, 38-36. Here with 7:30 left, fourth quarter. Into the front court comes Bynum. He'll find Lucero on the left wing, guarded closely by Pena. Dribbles around the right circle. Dish down to Bynum in the right corner. Double team. Returns it back to Wood to make it Lucero on the right wing. Drives to the right baseline. Flip it up top to Wood. Down the lane with the hippity hop. Runs over his defender. We got an offensive foul. He barreled into the defense of Chisholm and knocked him to the floor. And that will be the charge call. That's going to be the 14th foul on the Rams. First charge of the ball game, by the way. Nice job for Chisholm to put his body on the line. That'll be the second foul on Wood.
Yeah, the Ram was out of control, was driving the lane and just ran over his player.
Eagles have it with Mackey with a double team in the backcourt. Deep left corner. It's a fired hard to half court and pulled down by Chisholm. On the right wing front side. Doubles behind his back against the double team. His pass is deflected and taken away by Wood for the Eagles' 17th turnover. Wood comes down the lane to the other end. Throws it right in Mackey's face, who picks it off from him. That'll be turnover number 20 for the Rams. Back door to Marquez. Down the lane, and he lays over the left rim for 2. So Devon Marquez now with 5 points and a timeout on the court.
Eagles looking back to life in this fourth quarter as they did very little in the third.
They've got more points in the last minute and a half than they had the whole third quarter. They had 3 in the third, and now they've got 4 here to break the 36 all-time. We'll keep it right here at the Bulldog Pit in Artesia, New Mexico. This is the site of the Tournament of Champions. Of course, the Eagles, we mentioned last year, won all 3 games. They beat Alamogordo by 41 points, beat the Rio Rancho Rams in the semifinals by 17, and Los Lunas, the championship game, by 27. So some big blowout wins for the Eagles in that tournament last year. Of course, the Eagles get the trophy here. But, we get this different mix of teams that come into this tournament. Carlsbad has been here the last few years, and the Hobbs might have a chance to play them the next game tomorrow. But they got to win this one first, Ron.
Exactly. No matter what, whether we play Los Lunas or Carlsbad, we're going to play them later on in the season. Of course, we play Carlsbad twice because of district play. We get Los Lunas once. I believe it's going to be at home, but I can't remember for certain.
No, it's a 2-game. It's Los Lunas, and then they go to Cleveland. That's a 2-game
Oh,
Friday-Saturday matchup.
okay. That's
tough
right.
weekend that weekend, too.
But in any case, Hobbs has definitely got to get their shooting woes under control. They get, we've been talking about this, and this is probably one of the historically the lowest scoring teams so far this season that we've seen ever. And we're talking about going all the way back to the beginnings of Ralph Tasker back in the 40s and the 50s, where they didn't shoot as much as they did or didn't have as much time. But in any case, the main thing, though, is other than the fact that they need to get their shooting up a little bit, they need to make sure they control the ball, keep the ball. And one of the things that we've been noticing from Rio Rancho in this game especially is the fact they like to press. And they've been doing a lot of pressing. In fact, it seems like sometimes they've reversed the jerseys. And you swear to think that sometimes you're thinking that you're seeing the Hobbs press on there when it's actually the Rams that are doing it.
And I guarantee you, Ralph Tasker is not helping them out with that press in this game. That's for
right.
sure. I mean, he's definitely not in their ball camp at this point in time. Eagles have the 4-point lead. Boy, this is an extended timeout here. Seems like it's longer than a minute, but 4-point lead, 40-36. Again, we mentioned the winner will play either Carlsbad or Los Lunas tomorrow, about the 4:15 time. And that's subject to what the tournament's going to be doing in terms of the overtimes and all that going on. Of course, a full girls bracket as well, as several teams come into play for that. Hobbs girls are not in this Artesia tournament, though.
No, they are not.
6:41 left here in the fourth. The opening game of the tournament started at 8:30 this morning. Live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube will continue to be the broadcasting places for the rest of the tournament as well. We will not be on the radio this week due to the Stuff a Truck food drive going on today, Friday, and Saturday with No Mark Broadcasting on our radio stations. Rams basketball, Bynum has it. He'll bring it across for Rio Rancho. Sends it over to Morales on the right wing to the right corner of Archuleta. Fadeaway 3 off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound for Pena, his 5th. Throws it across the court, and there's a man open. Missing the reverse layup is Chisholm, though. Trying to get his own rebound. He gets knocked to the floor. I think they're going to call the body foul on Rio Rancho, but Chisholm had a point-blank reverse layup that went up with 2 hands and knocked it off the rim. Looked like the official had his fist in there and calling the foul, but I guess he's going to say was not a foul.
Looks like he's went out of bounds.
He just called it out of bounds, so Rancho will have the basketball as they trail 40-36. Clock down to 6:15 remaining. As coming across the timeline is Bynum. He was going to slow it down as he backs it out to the time stripe. He'll be guarded by Chisholm at the top of the circle. Drives to the left elbow, gets stripped by Marquez, picked up by Pena. Rio Rancho now with their 21st turnover. Marquez tries to do an alley-oop to Mackey. You have to come down with it on the left baseline. Tries to save it, but right in the hands of Johnson for the Eagles' 17th turnover. Johnson going to go to the rack with it all the way to the right side of the rim and is fouled as he leans to the hoop. Got hit in the head that time. He'll get 2 free throws. Haven't had any free throws for the longest time here at this ball game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was able to fight through that foul as well. Looked like he was just about to get into it, but it didn't crawl up that rim like it was supposed to.
Pena's second personal, 15th foul on the Eagles. First shot is up and a swish for Bynum. That's his 10th point of the ball game. As he's been on the line 7 times and converted 4 of those, just over half. One more free throw here for Bynum. Try to get it down to a 2-point game, and that's an air ball off the second one. He knew that was bad the minute he left his fingertips. Has a little bit of a smile for his teammate, slapping the hand of Esteban Morales after that missed shot. Marquez the inbound for the Eagles on the left baseline of the backcourt. Gets it into Pena, but a little bit of a limp inbound there as it's knocked out by Archuleta. Almost had a chance for a steal, but a little bit too much momentum on it and booted it out on the right baseline. Hobbs will get on the right base now. Marquez still in the backcourt, though. Everybody matched up on D by the Rio Rancho Rams. Toss it to half court. Pena goes up strong for it. Gets the catch. Top of the circle. No look pass back door, but throws it behind Chisholm out of bounds. That'll be another Eagle turnover, number 19. So Hobbs trying to get some good looks out there, but sometimes the passes aren't on target.
Yeah, it's great to have a no-look pass when it works. But when it doesn't work, it just looks like just threw the ball away.
3-point ball game. Hobbs by 3, 40-37 with 5:40 remaining here in the fourth. Bynum will come across the timeline with a pat on the top of the head to set up the play call for Coach Salata. Bounces into the time stripe to Bynum. Mackey's going to back up to the top of the circle, just waiting for him to come at him. Unloads the ball to Morales on the right wing. Tough pressure by Pena. Bounce pass up top to Archuleta. Swing it left to Bynum. Bynum flips it to the free throw line to Johnson. Goes a reverse layup on the left side. The ball rolls around the rim and good. And they got the foul as well. He loves those reverse layups. And that will be the Eagles' 6th team foul. As Bynum now with 12 points in the books. And that's the second on Argot. And the 6th team foul, as we mentioned.
Yeah, and that was a nice shooter's touch by Bynum on that last make.
He doesn't go up straight ever in the paint, it seems like. He's always doing the reverses. Just likes to use both sides of the rim and make the defender come over the top. Free throws a hard break off the back of the rim, no good, as it's pulled down for Michael Mackey. That is his 5th rebound of the ball game. Dribbles through traffic and throws it to Pena in the front court on the far sideline in front of the scorer's table. Slides across left to right with the dribble. Clock to 5 minutes remaining. Eagles by 1. Comes around the right circle. Crossover moves. He gets the screen from Argot. Pass up top off the hands of Chisholm, but regains it and gives it off to Marquez. Dribbling left to right now near the timeline. Eagles being a little bit tentative on offense now, trying to get people open. Dribbles around the right circle. Uses the screen of Argot. Top of the arc. Bounce pass back door in the paint. Loose. Picked up and a shot by Argot. Misses. Gets his own rebound. Actually got tipped over to Bynum. So Bynum gets the board for Rio Rancho. Throws it ahead to a breaking Johnson. Dribbles the top of the circle. It's stolen for the Eagles by Chisholm. He tries to throw it to the timeline. We got bodies and heads crashing all over the place. So we're going to have to see what the call is. Ooh, Marquez went head-to-head with the Rio Rancho player, and those guys both holding their heads right now. That's Esteban Morales and Marquez, the two guys that went head-to-head for Rams and the Eagles. That's going to take a few seconds to get the stars out of those two guys' heads at this point.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to sit down for a moment, maybe okay afterwards, but you're definitely feeling the pain right at this second.
Looks like they're going to give it to the Eagles. Not sure what the call was. It might have just been stoppage of action due to the head-on-head collision there.
I was expecting a jump ball, but
it's going to bring in a sub, though, for the Eagles. That's Braylon Vega, who's hit a couple of trays in this game. 8 points total for him. As Devon Marquez is going to have to take a seat, and he's having his head checked by Coach Ross right now. The back of his head getting hit pretty hard there. So Eagles inbound near timeline, as it will be Vega to inbound. A lot of holding going on here for the Rams, and inbound to the backcourt to Pena. He'll go one-on-one against Kevin Archuleta. Clock down to 4:20 left. Eagles by 1 to the right wing. Gets a big screen with a chest by Argot. Puts it up top to Chisholm. Dribbles left. Hands off to Mackey. Mackey in the left corner. Fakes a 15-footer. Then leans to the basket. Shoots anyway. No good. Ball slipped out hard by Rio Rancho and picked up at the timeline by Archuleta. His 3rd board. To the right wing. Back deep to the timeline to reset to Bynum. Coach Salata telling his team to slow it down with a 1-point deficit with the Eagles. 3:58 remaining. Unloads to the right wing to Archuleta. Driving hard to the baseline. Shoves off his defender. And they're going to call the travel first. Yes, he got away with a push off there, but they said travel first. And that will be the 23rd turnover for the Rio Rancho Rams. Either way, the call would have gone against him. So
exactly.
Take one of the better of the two evils there. Hobbs by 1, 40-39. Get that pressure defense in the backcourt, full court. Comes with the ball into Pena. He's going to take the dribble himself behind his back. Crossover move against Archuleta through the timeline to the front court. Clock to 3:40 left. Hobbs by 1. Going to take his time on the dribble. Bounce pass to Mackey on the right wing. Holding the basketball against the defense of Lucero. Returns up top to Chisholm. To the left wing to Pena. Pena going to hold it again. Driving hard to the baseline. Takes a shot. Comes down the lane with the windmill layup attempt. And comes off the back of the rim. No good on the shot. But they're going to get the foul call here. And that will be the 15th foul against the Rio Rancho Rams. And that'll be the foul charged to Archuleta, his first. On the line will be Pena. He's perfect, 2 for 2. In fact, the Eagles haven't shot a free throw in the second half. They're perfect 5 for 5 on the line with Mackey's 3 for 3 way back in the first quarter. Mackey hasn't scored since the first quarter, Ron. He has 7 total.
Right. That's so one of the bad things sometimes that happens with a good scorer is in the second half he either gets overshadowed or maybe something else happens. He just doesn't play or doesn't make any points and becomes non-relevant.
First free throw for Pena off the front of the rim, no good. So missing his first of the game. Pena leads his squad right now with 10 points for the Eagles, 8 for Chisholm, 7 for Mackey, and 5 for Marquez, who had to take a seat due to getting a head-on-head collision. Top scorer for Rio Rancho is Johnson with 13 and 12 for Bynum. Second free throw bouncing around and good. So Pena goes 1 of 2. He's got 11 points. And Hobbs by 2 now, 41-39. 3:25 remaining in the game. Very close contest, the opening round of the Tournament of Champions here in Artesia. Slowing it down now with the dribble coming across the timeline is Johnson. Top of the circle. He's guarded by Vega. Dribbles the left elbow. Pass to the free throw line to Archuleta. Dumps it right block to Wood. Kick out to right corner to Archuleta. Drives baseline. Ball deflected back up top to Bynum. Returns the right wing to Wood. Drives the lane, then returns deep to Bynum at the timeline to run clock with 3 minutes remaining. Hobbs by 2. One-hand bounce pass to the right elbow to Morales with the pivot. Drives the lane. Actually, that was Wood. Fadeaway jumper off the back of the rim. He shot that at the point-blank range, and Argot pulls the rebound bound for his second. Outlet to the timeline to Mackey to slow it up with 2:40 remaining. Hobbs by 2. All 3 coaches for the Eagles staff up on their feet, shouting some instructions to their team. They want to get the win in the books here. Mackey's just going to take his time with the dribble through his legs in front of the scores table left side. Stop and go to the left wing. And a 5-second violation. Coach Reese says unload the basketball. Too much dribbling, and that'll be a violation on the Eagles, which is their 20th turnover of the ball game.
And their second violation in this game that they've had to suffer through.
2:30 left in the fourth. It's a 41-39 2-point lead for the Eagles. Rio Rancho basketball. Jamal Bynum has it. He's going to wait for a screen to come up top. That's Johnson. Uses it to the left wing. Touch pass to the left corner to Archuleta. Kick up top to Wood. Back to the left side to Archuleta. Dribbles right. Finds Lucero on the right wing and returns deep to Archuleta. Sling it off to the left side to Bynum. He'll bring it back to the timeline as Coach Salata wants us to see some rotation on the wings. Unloads to Johnson on the left side. 2 minutes left. Pass to the left elbow. Lucero's jumper off the back of the rim. And it's pulled down for the Eagles by Vega. They call the foul on the rebound. That'll go against Rio Rancho. That's their 6th foul as a team.
Still not bonus yet.
That'll be charged to Bynum, his second. Hobbs will have it on the right baseline. Vega to inbound. Sends it up the near sideline to Acosta, who just checked in. Cross court left to Vega, or correction, Pena. Pena bring it across. His defender backs way up on him. Lucero now in the front court. Top of the circle, comes to the right elbow. Returns to the left wing to Vega. Vega drives hard to the left elbow. Lost the basketball, knocked out of his hands. And we got a loose ball here. We're going to see they called the foul on somebody as both players diving at the basketball. That's going to be a turnover for the Eagles. That's their 21st. And then a foul on top of that, trying to regain the turnover there, was Braylon Vega, who picks up his first personal, the 17th foul, and adding insult to injury now, Ron, a 1-on-1 bonus for Rams.
I know, and plus you got a 2-point game with 1:40 to go, and Hobbs so far has struggled still in the second half to score any kind of points at all.
Jerry Archuleta on the line is yet to shoot a free throw. Does have 7 total points, though. Eagles with 7 fouls, 6 for Rio Rancho, so 1 more foul with the Rams, and they put the Eagles in the bonus. Little delay here. I'm not sure what the situation is.
They said something to 22. He walked away. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, he's going to the scores table, or over to the bench, I mean, and now the timeout for Coach Salata. I'm not sure. Maybe they couldn't get him fixed up enough, so they went ahead and called the timeout. We'll have to wait and see what the deal was there. 1:40 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Hobbs up 41-39. We'll take a quick break, 30 seconds, and back live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back at the Tournament of Champions here in Artesia, your Hobbs Eagles leading by 2, 41-39 over Rio Rancho with 1:40 remaining here in the fourth. On the line for the Rams, Jerry Archuleta yet to shoot a free throw. The team is 6 of 15 for 40%. His shot is hard off the left rim. I don't even know if it hit the rim. Rebound for the Eagles as pulling it down is Lehman. That's his first board. Outlet to the sideline. Coming across the time stripe is Argot. Back to Mackey. 41-39, 2-point lead. Back to Lehman on the near side. He'll back it out against double team pressure. Kicks it up top to Pena. His pass is knocked out of his hands, and a steal by Johnson. The Eagles' 22nd turnover. Johnson goes to the rack right side, is blocked, and Mackey comes down with the rebound, his 6th. Mackey with double team on him, and luckily got a timeout call by Coach Rees. He had thrown the ball. The referee at the baseline called a timeout. The ball was thrown right to the Rio Rancho Rams, and Coach Salata, with a big high-step march on the sideline, thought that it should be Rio Rancho basketball. The Eagles dodge a bullet, but that's good coaching by the Hobbs Eagle coaching staff there, Ron, to save a turnover in a very critical time.
And this is the reason why, because you have a double team and you got nobody down there to try to help him out as far as get the ball, keep moving it. So instead, once the Coach Reeves says that, you know what, I see nobody out there helping, we need a timeout, we need to get this ball, and we need, of course, we've got very little time and a very small lead as far as this game goes. If you want to win it, we got to call that timeout.
Yeah, Hobbs has had this is the most truest test in terms of full court pressure defense this season. Of course, this is only their 4th game, but still, Rio Rancho giving them a very good test back there, and then trying to learn how to move the basketball, help each other out down the court. You don't just leave your point guard down the far end of the baseline there while everybody else goes down the other side. And that's what Coach Reeves has been screaming out along with the coaching staff is got to help each other. It's not a question of yelling help. It's just get down there and do it.
And it isn't like this is the first time and they've done this in the game. They've been doing it most of the game, and you would think by now they would have adjusted and made those comebacks to get the ball and keep it moving instead of having it forced out or a bad pass or whatever is going on that is causing the turnovers for the Hobbs Eagles. So, yeah, we need to keep our head in a swivel. We need to make sure that we're getting moving the ball down the court and definitely getting it across the timeline before the 10-second violation.
Great news on the free throw line today, though, Ron. Hobbs 6 of 7 for 85%, their best shooting of the season there. So they get one more foul with the Rams there. They will go to the line. Hobbs going to try to break the pressure one more time here. Man-to-man going on. Lehman will get it in to Pena. Gets stripped, though. A shot with the one-hander from the back of the rim. It's no good. Tipped out. We'll see who the ball is going to go to here. It's going to go to Rio Rancho, so they got another chance. Eagles just picking up their 23rd turnover. Rams basketball on the left baseline with 1:08 remaining. Hobbs by 2. Inbounding on the left base is Wood underneath the hoop. Rams go back door with a reverse layup. Missing it is Archuleta. Loose at the top of the circle off a deflection. Picked up by Johnson. His 5th rebound. We got a whistle before he takes off to the rack. Looks like they got a reach foul on the Eagles. That might be against Acosta, his 4th, and that's the 18th foul, which will mean still a bonus situation. 1-1 with 1:02 remaining.
Right, but so far everything's going Rio Rancho's way. The Rams have been more aggressive. Seems like they've also had more attempts at the shots than Hobbs even thinks about.
Johnson 1 of 3 from the line, does have 13 points yet to score here in the 4th quarter. His first free throw is off the front of the rim, no good. His only free throw, I should say. Lehman underneath the hoop for the rebound for the Eagles, his 2nd. Outlet to Mackey, middle of the court. Getting some double team pressure. We got a hand foul called. It looks like stripping his arm was Jerry Archuleta, which is the 17th foul. Archuleta's first, and now Hobbs on the line. And Mackey's the guy you want to go to on the line in this game. He's 3 for 3. Of course, he went 5 of 7 against Centennial on that overtime win on Tuesday night. So critical, and it's kind of weird, though. He hasn't scored since the first quarter. He had 7 then.
Well, he needs to rectify that. Plus, you're right about the fact that you want to get Mackey the ball in his hands. He has been the best hope for so far on the line, on the free throw line.
Again, Eagles 6 of 7 for 85%. Free throw is up, and it is good. He's got 8 points, his first point of the second half. So kind of got the juggernaut off there, and a 3-point lead. It'd be nice to get one more to make it a double possession lead for the Eagles. 42-39, Hobbs by 3 with 55 seconds remaining here in the first round of the Tournament of Champions in Artesia. Second shot for Mackey is a swish. He's got 9 points and 5 for 5 on the line. 4-point Eagle lead, 43-39, a 2-possession game with 54 seconds remaining. Rams basketball, don't want to foul him. Bynum will come across the timeline against Lehman, is slowed up. Pass off to the left wing to Archuleta, guarded closely by Pena. Crossover move, top of the circle. One-hand pass to the right corner. It's going to be Bynum kicking it up top to Wood. Drives the left lane, leads and shoots. It's off the glass, counted, and the block foul. Wood will get the bucket. They call the block on Acosta, and if that is him, that's going to be his 5th personal. That will be the 19th foul. Still waiting to see what they got on the number on the foul. But Wood has got his 3rd point, and they have Acosta for 5. I've got him down for 4. So they're going to have to go to their bench. The 5th foul going to be called on Acosta, as he'll finish the game with no points in this contest.
And by the way, just to mention, I mean, I don't usually say this for the opponent, but Wood had a very nice shot. It went right in, just kissed the glass, went right in, and he also got the foul as well. That's exactly what you want to do or accomplish when you're shooting.
Brian Acosta does foul out. Chris Archibek checks in for the Eagles, and a free throw here for Wood would get it to a 1-point game, and it's good. He's got 4 points now, 43-42. Eagles up by 1. 35 seconds remaining. Inbound to Pena is loose off his hands. Mackey picks it up on the near side. A 3-on-1 comes down the lane, is stripped from behind. The ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say it's off an Eagle. Jerry Archuleta stole it from behind, knocked it out. It looked like it should have been Hobbs basketball. They call an offensive push-off foul on the Eagles. That was late in the play. I mean, it had already been shot or going knocked out of bounds, and they call the foul against Mackey, his 3rd. That's the 10th team foul. It's on a shooting situation on a charge or offensive push-off foul. But that does give it to Rio Rancho with 24 seconds remaining. Eagles by 1. Into the front court comes Bynum. It's a 2-shot foul, but it does happen here in the last few seconds. Sling it over to left wing to Bynum. Guarded closely by Lehman. And we got a timeout called as Coach Salata wants to talk to his troops with 10.4 seconds remaining. Hobbs up by 1, 43-42. I guess they called Mackey on a push-off as he was trying to go save the ball on the baseline, and he shoved off on a ram, so that's where they got the call at the other end. Thought they just called it out of bounds, but they want the push-off there. But a 1-point game. Coach Salata, Ron, he's got his chance for his team to get a victory here to kind of get back to the Eagles for their double-digit win the Hobbs had last year in the semis of this tournament.
Yeah, and the way he's playing right now, he could actually do it. The only thing that is saving Hobbs right now is the lack of shots that the Rams are making as far as free throws and from the field goal. They've had plenty of chances to get back in this game. They just haven't been able to do it. Thankfully for the Hobbs Eagles, or at least for the 1-point victory, or 1-point lead right now they have. But time is running out, and their chances are getting slimmer as the Rams will have the ball and a chance to make this a victory for them.
Low-scoring 4th quarter. Hobbs scoring 7 points and 6 for Rio Rancho. They were tied at 36 at the end of the 3rd, so it's coming down to this one right now as Rio Rancho has probably one more play opportunity with 10.4 seconds remaining in the basketball in their front court. 43-42, Hobbs +1. So both teams are starting to come out on the court here. Again, the winner is going to play either Carlsbad or Los Lunas. They'll play later today, those two teams. The loser goes to the consolation bracket. Consolation around 10:15 tomorrow, and the semifinals on the winner's side will be around 4:15. So Hobbs definitely would like to have a little bit more rest having to play tomorrow. Inbounding will be Rio Rancho in front of their bench on the right sideline, front court. Mikey Wood to do that. With 10.4 remaining. They'll get in on the right wing to Bynum. Spins, baseline, drives to the right block. Throws it back out to the right wing to Wood. Sling it over to the left side. Archuleta with 3, 2, 1 to the free throw line to Wood. Shot at the buzzer is no good off the back of the rim. The Eagles dodge a bullet. No foul call. Fadeaway jumper from the left elbow of the free throw line off the back of the rim, and the Eagles escape. 43-42 over Rio Rancho. And boy, the air in my chest is blown out of there. You could just almost hear the whistle being blown for a foul. It did not happen. And the ball just clinks off the back of the rim, and the Eagles get the 1-point victory, Ron.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. In this case, Hobbs got lucky enough to where, like I said, Rio Rancho was not hitting their shots. They went for the final shot, weren't able to make it. And as the ball hit the court, their win is swept away. Hobbs wins with a big one on this one as they advance, and luckily they get to play in the afternoon tomorrow.
Boy, Eagles getting a 5-point win in overtime against Centennial. Lost a couple of point game to Permian that started off, and of course they went to the wire too with the El Paso Montwood. So lots of tight games, but this is a younger team. Not a lot of guys returning from last year, so Michael Mackey is pretty much the exception with the starting time or some playing time last year quite substantially. But I guess you can expect that in an early season. But the Eagles get the win. That's the best part, the W, 43-42. We're going to take a 2-minute break and come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show at the Tournament of Champions in Artesia. You're listening live to HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Welcome back to the Hobbs Eagle postgame show on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you as the Hobbs Eagles escape with a 1-point win in the opening round of the Artesia Tournament of Champions. 43-42 the final. A 1-point win. The Eagles outscoring Rio Rancho 7-6 in the fourth quarter. Both teams were tied at 36 at the end of 3. And the Hobbs had a little bit of a cushion there, about a 5 or so point lead that kind of dwindled late in the fourth. And Rio Rancho had a couple of opportunities to put the game away. Just couldn't get it done with the last-second shot, though. Yeah, a couple of bad possessions for the Hobbs Eagles. Gave the Rio Rancho Rams plenty of opportunities to be able to get back into this game and even win it. And they missed their free throws. They missed their shots. And in the end, it worked out for the Hobbs Eagles, as once again you said, Hobbs Eagles do advance in this City of Champions tournament. And they face the winner of Carlsbad versus Los Lunas. Looking at the numbers of this game, Rio Rancho had 2 in double figures. Jaden Johnson, 13 points and 5 rebounds. Jamal Bynum had 12 points and 1 rebound. And a couple of these guys really getting a lot of free throws. That's Bynum. He was 4 for 9 from the charity stripes. It didn't help his cause, shooting less than 50% from the line in that game. Could have it was a lot of points, a 1-point ball game. All those could have helped his team get over the hump there. Right. So those 2 in double figures, 25 of the total 42 points for this Rio Rancho squad. Jerry Archuleta finished with 7 points and a rebound. Mikey Wood had 4 points and 4 rebounds. Kevin Archuleta had a bucket for 2 points with 3 boards, and Maddox Presser had 2 points but did have 8 rebounds to lead the team. So a total of 7 players scoring for Rio Rancho, 23 rebounds in the game, and again, Maddox Presser with the 8 to lead the squad. They did have 23 turnovers, which did not help their cause, and their free throws weren't too good either, 7 of 19 for 36%. On the Hobbs Eagles side of the coin, they ended up with just 1 player in double digits. That was Abraham Pena. He finished with 11 points. He had a couple of two three-pointers in the game. He was 3 of 4 from the charity stripe for 75%. Michael Mackey finished with 9 points. He was perfect from the line, 5 for 5, and had 6 rebounds. So those two combined for 20 of the Hobbs Eagle 43 points. Jordan Chisholm with 8 points coming off the bench for the Eagles. Definitely a consistent game for him, a lot of crashing too. He finished up with just 1 rebound, though. Devon Marquez, who went down with a head injury late in the game, he had 5 points, including a tray. Braylon Vega with a big game coming off the bench in the second quarter. All 8 of his points scored there. 2 3-pointers back-to-back, and then another bucket as well. So a great game for him coming off. Caleb Lehman finished up with a bucket for 2 points and 2 rebounds. And that's pretty much it for the Eagles scoring. They had 6 players in the books in this one. They were out-rebounded 23-22 as Mackey led the team with 6 boards and Abraham Pena with 5. Hobbs shooting their best free throws of the season, 8 of 9 for 88%. Hobbs finishing up, though, with 23 turnovers, which is the same number that Rio Rancho had. So both had the same number of turnovers in this game. And, again, that's something that's going to hopefully get cleaned up after a while. Both teams are averaging over 20 turnovers a contest through their early games. So kind of the same situation in this one. So Hobbs getting that 43-42 victory over Rio Rancho. Hobbs going to 3-1 on the season. Rio Rancho drops to 0-3. Next game for the Eagles, of course, will be tomorrow, and that'll be the semifinals of this City of Champions Classic, as Hobbs will take on the winner of Carlsbad and Los Lunas. Now, that will be at 4:30, while the pregame show around 4:15. Carlsbad and Los Lunas are playing today at 11:30, so that's after this girls' game, which is coming up next. So expect us to be on the internet tomorrow at 4:15 or around that time for the pregame show, as Hobbs will take on either Carlsbad or Los Lunas. And Ron, as we go to the second round tomorrow, any last thoughts of this game, which was kind of a nail-biter to the end, a 1-point Eagle victory?
I'm hoping they've learned that they need to play a little bit better, stop these nail-biters. We don't have very many nails left. We've still got 2 more games to go, or at least 1 more game tomorrow against either Los Lunas or Carlsbad. So I know that Coach Reeves and everybody else, all the other coaches, are saying the same thing. We need to start to shoot more, get those fouls in, as well as work on our free throws.
So final score, 43-42. Your Hobbs Eagles in the semifinals tomorrow, 4:15 with the pregame show. We'll tip it off at 4:30, as you'll get it on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube, exclusive internet coverage only. For Ron Gunner, myself, Ty Friend, have a great rest of the day here if you're watching the games in Artesia or possibly anywhere else around the area. Have a good one.